I have no idea why I drag my feet so much on filming wrap-ups, but here is my wrap-up for May. So a lot of these are gonna be mentioned in vlogs that I did this month. So those books I'm gonna keep explanations rather short and just point you to the vlogs that they're related to. So first up, I read The Magician's Nephew last month and had it in that wrap up. So I read the rest except for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe out of this to complete my I never fixed my bookmark in this, but that's done. I've read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe so many times and stuff, I just didn't want to reread it yet, but I plan on fully rereading this whole thing again eventually because I picked these up on audiobook and the audiobooks were fantastic, but also I use audiobooks as a multitasking thing, so there's definitely going to be some things that maybe I can pick up if I reread this again physically, and I definitely plan on doing that. I enjoyed my time in Narnia, and I definitely am glad I finally finished the entire series. That is part of a dedicated vlog, so I'll link that and we'll move on. Okay, so part of the same vlog, I read Jurassic Park, and I really enjoyed my time with this. I enjoyed the earth science in this. I enjoyed how Michael Crichton does his science fiction and making it more accessible and easy to understand. And so I really enjoyed my time in Jurassic Park. Like I said, go check out the vlog if you want more in-depth thoughts as I read through this. This is not the one I read because I got it as a library book, but I read Death Masks. For my Dresden File vlogs that I'm doing. Those are full spoilers, so if you've read this series, definitely check those out. Or if you don't plan on reading the series, you can check those out as well, because I go into the full summary and figuring things out throughout those vlogs. I read Death Masks. It was not my favorite of the ones I've read so far, but I know it's a build up to something, so I just kind of took in the information and ready to move on to Blood Rights. I'm not going to be able to mention much about this one because it's going to be part of a vlog for next month. I read A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It was definitely unique, and I enjoy Patrick Ness's writing style in this. I read the Whale book he also did, and then I've read the Chaos Walking first book in that series and then didn't continue. So if I should continue, let me know, because I'll have to reread that book one, but I was upset over a character death, so then I never continued. You'll have to probably wait for full thoughts on this in that vlog, and this was also my pick as my library challenge read for a recommended book. I completed my library challenge for the month. I was worried I wasn't gonna get to finish this by the end because it's rather depressing and so I wasn't picking it up every single night to read. So that's all I'll say about this, because I feel like I can't say much yet. A novella and a short story that I read this month was The Fall by Ryan Cahill. That's also part of the same vlog that I read the Chronicles of Narnia and Jurassic Park in. More thoughts on it in there, but it basically is a good setup for me to be kind of sort of grounded in the world that I'll eventually get into once I start the Bound and the Broken series. And for me, it wasn't a very strong start, but it got me intrigued enough to read his full books that aren't less than 100 pages. So that's where I am with The Fall. And then for book club, we were gonna pivot to just doing movies for the month, but then one of the movies was a little bit too graphic for me, so we decided to pivot and choose a short story. So we picked The Short and Happy Life of Frances Macomber by Ernest Hemingway, and I personally have never read anything by Ernest Hemingway before. So the whole premise, let me backtrack a little. The whole premise of this month was reading or initially watching manly men movies or books, and so we basically were gonna watch movie adaptations of books, and then that didn't pan out, so we picked Ernest Hemingway as our short read to read, and I definitely see how this could be a manly man book. And let's just say I guess I gleaned so far from what people have said in this club that Hemingway is kind of known for writing characters that you hate. So I hated every single character in this short story. The ending actually shocked me. I had no idea where this short story was even gonna go while reading it, and I just continuously felt bad for the animals, and I don't know if it's also a commentary on interactions between humans and animals as well, and treating animals for sport, just things revolving around that. But that was definitely an out of my comfort zone read, and I don't know if I'll pick up more Ernest Hemingway. I do have like some other short stories that I could read by him. Not sure I'll pick them up anytime soon, but it was definitely a good short story to pick up to kind of introduce me to his writing. Different angle, because I forgot a book in this wrap up. I listened to Superfan by Jenny. I'm gonna butcher the last name, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's this book by this author. Superfan was a aardvark pick. I did not pick it. I skipped that month, but I listened to it on audio. Very good audiobook. We get 2 different voices for the 2 different main POVs. So this one I actually really enjoyed. It was different than what I was expecting, but it's very heavy character focused. Lit fic about a fan of a boy band and then the actual one of the members of this boy band. So you get like a backstage and you get the fan and the actual performer perspectives of just this situation, their each individual life situations. It does get heavy into different topics, but I appreciated with this one because anyone who's been watching my channel this year, I DNF'd Honey which was like a 90s pop band singer story, because it was character centric, but it got too heavy in like describing things and getting too much into territories that I didn't want to go in with the topic of fandoms and celebrity and being famous and stuff. But this one, it still touched on like similar commentaries, but it did it in that fade to black way that you understood what happened, but it doesn't, like, the focus isn't on the event or the thing. Like, it keeps it almost PG-13 in a way, and I really appreciated that, especially on an audiobook. Like, when you're listening to an audiobook and then all of a sudden you're getting content that you didn't really want to listen to. So I really appreciate that about this book. I think I liked Eason, which is one of the members of the boy band. He's Halo in the boy band. His perspective, I think, was my favorite of the two, just because I think I've been wanting that book about the celebrity or famous person, but each of the ones I've picked up have been like content that I didn't really want. But this one, I enjoyed reading from his perspective and just the layers we get, because he has a secret past thing in this book, that just figuring that mystery of the layers of that out, and how it's affecting his current life as a idol in this band. And then we get Minnie, who is a super fan of this boy band, and kind of how she latches on to this boy band, to this group, to kind of get her through the lows of life, and feeling lonely and just like she doesn't fit in college. I think some of the things that Minnie does just kind of bothered me too much, and obviously I'm a person that doesn't come from how she went through life, so I think that's just, there's a disconnect there where I don't understand her choices for stuff. But I really enjoyed this book, and if you're a lit fic fan, if you enjoy just the celebrity and maybe like a story about college life as well. So that was the one I forgot to mention in this video, and realized I needed to turn the camera on one more time while I was editing, and I chose not to do a voiceover. So, on to the next book. I did mention I had 2 e-arcs that I needed to read, and unfortunately, both I ended up DNFing. There was one that I made it 70% and realized it was very heavy romantic-y, vibey, and that's just not something I personally enjoy reading. I still left a review for the NetGalley stuff because I made it 70%. There was a interesting magic system with Deathbringer. I didn't say the name, Deathbringer. If you are a fan of romantasy, I think this would be up your alley. There was a very, like, the mystery and the magic systems and dark academia stuff of it kept me interested, but it was very, very heavy romantasy trope. So I just, by the time we were kind of figuring stuff out and learning stuff at the 70%, I was like, I don't care about what is happening right now. Like, it was interesting, and like I said, if you're a romantasy heavy reader, I think you're gonna love this one. It just is not a book I pick up. Palace Underneath the Sea, I won't mention a whole lot. Because I declined to even leave a review because I didn't make it very far in before I decided that this was another one that just wasn't gonna be for me as a reader. And the cover's beautiful, but I just don't think it's gonna be a book I will enjoy. When you're going into a book already not really liking some things about it, then I don't feel like I'm the correct person to be analyzing it, and I just don't think this book is going to be for me. So those are the books that I got to in the month of May. I think I'm going to put out a summer plans, summer possible TBR video. I definitely am still mood reading a lot. I will be coming out with a summer TBR type video soon, and I hope to see you all in the next video. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button. Click, click it, and I'll see you in the next video.